Hello and welcome to a new adventure, and we're finally back on the Leeds New Line, but we're ending the series as we started it on a wet, cold and miserable day. So we're currently stood at the Junction 27 roundabout, or near it, and we're at the new retail park, or the new petrol station that's been built on the roundabout there. And this behind me is the site of where I thought the rumoured fourth vent for the Gildersome Tunnel is. Now the tunnel would pass directly behind us here, underneath that, or just in front of that mound there somewhere. And we've just had a bit of bombshell news as well about this behind me, and I'll get to that in a sec. But before we do, I just want to introduce Richie again. You all know Richie from the previous videos. And we've also got John as well, who's joining us today on the last stretch into Leeds. Now these two guys between them, there's nothing they don't know about this line, which is a good thing. But anyway, John has just took the initiative to go into the site office behind me here to ask if we could verify that the fourth shaft that we think is behind us here is actually the shaft for the Gildersome Tunnel. And they've confirmed it 100% is. He's got the plans and everything. He said they're aware of it. They're actually trying at the minute to work out a solution to what they're going to do with it, because they're going to build on this site here, and they're looking for a valid solution to filling it off so it's safe to build on top. So 100% it is there where I said, and I'll show you that picture again now from Google Earth so you can see the event that I was talking about and what made me think that it was the fourth shaft. Now I'll just show you the site from this end. So you see the fence at the back there. We think that is roughly then where the infill is in the tunnel. So the infill will come up from here and end roughly where that fence is there. And then you've got the shaft directly underneath that mound there. So we've come back to the Gildersome Industrial Estate that we came to in my Ardsley to Lacerdyke series. And I'm back at the vent here. Now this is the Gildersome Tunnel vent number 3. And this is the only one that you can actually see above ground, that we think anyway. We might find another one soon, but that's the only one that is open as well, and it's not capped off. Now they do use this to access the tunnel, so when the maintenance guys want to go inside, they lower themselves down that vent there into the tunnel so they can inspect either way. Only because it's a lot easier than walking through the tunnel and the quagmire that is inside down there, so it's easier to access it from here. Right, so we've just made our way a bit further round, and we're now looking for the second shaft of the Gildersome Tunnel. Now we know you're not going to see it because it is well and truly filled in and capped off. But right behind me, this mound here is right where the vent or the shaft is, just under there, probably, I don't know, 30 feet down, because this has been recently raised up. That was the original ground level down there, and it's been lifted so they can build a brand new warehouse on there. But it is underneath there. But now what we're going to do is head further down and try find the original first shaft of the Gildersome Tunnel, and we might be able to show you something, hopefully. So I promised you we were going to find something, and we have, thank God. So we're down here at the elusive shaft number 1 for the Gildersome Tunnel, and we've just clambered through this soaking wet woodland here down a steep embankment to get in, and we found it. It's right here. So what you're seeing here is the top of the capped shaft, or shaft number 1. Now, I'm presuming it may have gone higher than this, who knows? I don't know, but it's well and truly, as you can see, capped off at the top now with concrete, and John assures me that there is iron underneath this as well, holding the concrete up. So he said it's safe to stand on, but I'm not going to do it, but he said it is. But anyway, there's a nice little hole here with a draft coming through it, so I'm presuming that is access into the shaft if I put the camera in, which I'm not going to do because it's very narrow and I don't want to lose you in there, because that's the end of the video. But I can feel a draft coming through here. I'll just try point you in a little bit. So we've got a marker on the wall, I don't know if you can see it, Department for Transport, I'm presuming, DFT marker there. But anyway, let's have a look in this little hole here. You can see there in the middle the iron supports holding the concrete at the top, and you can actually see the brickwork on the other side of the vent there, and you can see the cold breeze coming through as I'm breathing now. Oh God, the tree just pissed on me. Right, I said I wasn't going to stand on it, but we have, all 3 of us. We're on the cap. I don't know how it air. I am stood on the edge though. I'm not standing in the middle, no chance. Now John just said years ago when he used to come here, if you jumped in the middle, you could feel it moving. I wouldn't dare now. He said it doesn't anymore, which is a good thing. It's quite a big diameter on this. But yeah, we did it anyway. So we're in Dean's Wood and we're approaching the Gildersome Tunnel portal, not far down here now. And we've done all the shafts en route. Now just before we get to the portal, just down here is a culvert, and it's definitely got the blue coloured engineering brick from the Leeds New Line on this. So we're pretty much convinced that that was built as a water management system to avoid the tunnel. So basically you've got the beck coming through here that would have run underneath here, and then it popped out the other side of the portal for the tunnel, and we'll show you the modern equivalent of that when we get down there. But you two scuttling off. The section between the portal and the first shaft and the second shaft as well, John says, because he's been in there, John says it's very wet in the tunnel at this point, so we think that this beck is probably leaking into the tunnel from here underground, and also the remaining water from the fields either side of us as well. Right ahead is the top of the Gildersome Tunnel portal. Here we go. This is on the Leeds side. So as you saw at the other side, that was completely filled in, but this side isn't. Let's have a look, shall we? It's quite deep down there into the cutting. So this whole path that we've just walked on through this woods here couldn't have been no more than a few feet above the tunnel lining at the top, because I mean it's right here, and as you can see it's level here and all the way through. So right here, what you're looking at just on the portal of the tunnel here, this manhole here, or this shaft here, would have been the culvert that we saw a minute ago exiting here at the side of the tunnel, and then it would have flowed down that pipe there and then down to the track level and off down the track. So it basically was trying to divert all the water around the tunnel in a nice man-made tunnel. But obviously today that's not working out because it's all leaking into the structure inside. So as you can see how deep this cutting is here on both sides. I'm stood right on top of the portal now, and you can see the water there exiting the tunnel and making its way out. Right, so we've made it down into the cutting and we're right at the front of the portal, and you can just see the culvert that I was talking about, which comes down this huge pipe here, and it's supposed to flow down there at the side of the tracks. But you can clearly see that the cutting there has been infilled again towards the Gildersome Station, which is just beyond that. But normally this is horrendously flooded. Because we've had a dry summer, it's actually not that bad today, and we've managed to make it, apart from the rubbish here, we've managed to make it to the actual tunnel portal, which is fantastic. Richie here has just by himself bent that iron bar up there. I'm joking, he didn't. But we've come down and that is actually, it's been vandalised by the looks of it. We think either the world's strongest man or Godzilla has done that, because that is solid. But it's been bent up anyway, or maybe some tool was used. But you can see in, and it absolutely stinks coming out of there. You can smell sulphur, definitely. And the water, as you can see, the iron oxide, orange. So I did say in the last video I weren't going in, and I'm going to stick to that. It's not very pleasant in there. John's been through many times. He says it's horrendous and horrible, and especially today when it's raining. So we're not going to go in there, but I will show you inside briefly just from here. So that's as good as you're going to get in terms of light. It is absolutely pitch black, and obviously we've got the light behind us, which isn't helping. But there's not a lot to see. There is a refuge just on the right hand side over there, and I can hear my echo coming back, which is quite weird. And then there's a refuge just further up on the left there, and then I'm told there's a plate layers hut on the right hand side quite a few hundred yards further up. But all you can see in there is orange sludge, which is not very pleasant. Right, I'm going to attempt a shout up the tunnel because it's got a fantastic echo. Are you ready? Hello! Should we go in? Hello!
Hello! Hello!
So just one final look at the tunnel before we head off down towards Gildersome Station, which we're coming up to very soon. But what a magnificent structure, and very, very high portal that actually. Yeah, it would have been double track here obviously. And yeah, very impressive, I must say. But it is worth mentioning while we're here as well, this is actually private land from the just behind the portal and all the way back to the old site of the Gildersome Station. So please, if you fancy coming down here, don't. We've got permission to be here today. John's kindly arranged it with the farmer, so please do not attempt to come down here and access this portal or the station down there. Just enjoy the video and what we've put out. And there's also plenty of other videos on YouTube if you want to watch the tunnel itself. So it's still hammering it down with rain, but we've reached the site of Gildersome Station. We are stood right here now where the platforms would have started, and there would have been a signal box just behind us over there on the edge of the line. So you can see this is the site of the station here, probably more to the left of the station, and then there was a good site just on the right there, and you can just see the bridge in the distance there where the line would have gone underneath and carried on. We'll look at that in a minute when we get up there. But we've exited the tunnel portal, probably, I don't know, a quarter of a mile up there, and it would have curved towards us in a cutting and towards us here. This is all being filled in now and re-landscaped, so it doesn't look identical to what it did. But once again, please don't come down here. This is private land and we've got permission to be here today.
Like this. Good when you've been on a night out. Do too. A lot of work. I've had chats with people, it's Murfield that causes all problems.
So we're just approaching the Rooms Lane Bridge, which, as you can see, is 100% intact here. It's all been infilled again. So the station was directly in front of us here. Platforms would have been either side, the signal box over there, and then the goods site over here, as you've just seen on that picture. But obviously, another 10, 12 feet down there, and then now onto the bridge. So let's have a look at the other side and see what remains of that.